Happy Sunday to all of you. Week 15 is here. It's December 19th, and I'm out of Canada, baby. Thank you for watching Pub Sports Radio and our big NFL Pub Hub show. We have a great group today. Bebsie getting us rolling. Then Pistol Pete Loshak, who's done the show 3 times and gone 2-1 on each and every show, sitting at 6-3 on the season. Then Babano makes his triumphant return. We haven't seen Babano in 6 weeks. 6 weeks, Babano's back. And then Sharpie coming to us live from San Diego, California. And then the big Ragu, coming off his 3rd straight winning week on the show, has moved into 6th place in our capping standings. And God, it feels good to be in LA, man. I got to go to SoFi Stadium for the first time last night, and it is just state-of-the-art, spectacular. I just loved it. I don't know how it cost $5 billion, but still, it's just an absolutely beautiful stadium. And it was a double up for me because I cashed on Utah State plus 7.5, and then my dad asked me to send in his bet on the Beavers minus 6.5, and I did not send it in. And I can yell that out loud because he's gone. He's out at breakfast. So I did not send in his bet. So I cashed twice. And I got to meet up with DJ Big Boss and Trotwham at halftime. And I got to have a beer with those 2 guys and my dad, which was just like, God, it was as enjoyable as life gets. And shout out to Big Boss, who got me on the Aggies plus 7.5. He cashed, and both him and Trotwham cashed on the Utah State Aggies on the money line, plus 190 for both of them. Big balls, big set of balls on those 2 guys. I am a push safe taking the points guy. Also, probably you guys would guess this. Oregon State fans, much more attractive than Utah State fans. Much more. Much more. All right. And also, betting with the bag is off for 2 weeks, but Pistol Pete Loshak will be delivering the goods this Tuesday, and I'm going to get more relaxed. I don't know if you can see sort of the stress coming off my shoulders, but I'm getting more relaxed and happier each and every minute. Thank you guys all so much for joining us. We got Dan Kelly in the house for first half. Cavs team total over 55.5. Viper NB saying what a monster killing in UFC last night with the Pop fam. Time to keep it going. Mr. Fun Monk Hoops 590. Dan Kelly says keep an eye on the Bulls Lakers. If the Lakers get out to a lead, I'll get on the Bulls live betting. He says they're just a much better team even without Levine. He says I don't know if he's mentioned it, but the Lakers are awful. That's from Dan Kelly. Sammy Comer says Trae Young now in COVID protocol. We have tons of COVID issues, and we don't even have the most up-to-date information. Like some teams are still reeling with COVID and hoping that some players will return. There's Razor Sharp Pick says big game for the Packers today, and he is liking the under. There's Brian Watson, Coco Bongo, Curtis Berry, Rob Stevenson. There's no hotter capper, by the way, in our squad than Curtis Berry's rolling too, but then Rob Stevenson. My God, is this guy firing and hot. Slatsy in the house that just came in from shoveling. Enjoy the sunshine, Jimmy. Deontay Johnson over 78.5 receiving yards. Titans brutal versus the pass. I am on the over 41.5, and that has climbed, which is very nice. Very, very nice. Let's go, Brandon. We got Brian Pacone. We got Gerald Jones, Dennis Garcia in the house. Danny Lopez, Jimmy Gomez, Dav Fenn. Jimmy, I'm not far from you now, man. We got to set everything up. And we're working on setting things up. I was working with Boss and Wham to get us all together. Oh, man. Nuke Worker, Damon Santori, AB, Real Deal Prime. What a great group. There's Billy Brisbane, Kingu, Dennis Trusty, the community of new knowledge. Red Girl coming off a 5-1 night. Real Deal Prime, Markel. Old McDonald family says Broncos scare me. Yeah, they ought to. They're a very expensive secondary starting to come together. And yeah, look, all the Aggies, says Dan Kelly. AB says I'm going. Yes, look. It's not just the work that's really, really tough. It's also one-bedroom apartment in Parkdale, man. It's tough. And I know that I hope that I get to look back at these times and smile and laugh and think of us all in the one. But that means that I've gotten out. And you know what? If COVID attacks and I have to stay down here in LA, let's fucking go. All right. Thank you guys all so much for joining us. I'm not in Toronto, Todd Hilton. I'm down in Los Angeles. Slatsy says, Jimmy's Roadshow. We follow you anywhere. Much love to you. Slatsy, Joe Chris says, T-Wolves easy cash night. Well, it's time to talk football. Week 15. Let's bring in our first guest, my co-host on Tuesday nights. An excellent football player in his day as well. He's ready to jump on the show right now. Please welcome good old Bebsie in the house. Bebsie, how are you, my man?
Jimmy, what's happening, brother? You look good in front of all those books. I know you can't read, so it's all for show, but goddamn, do you look smart right now.
Thank you. It feels good. To be out of Parkdale, man. I can't emphasize that too much. All right, let's go. We have some good news for Bebsie and I. With the date switch, our Browns bets are voided. And we may go back in on them, but we can make that decision when more information comes out. So that feels like a win, getting the avoided Browns bet. So I'm sitting 88 and 75, hitting at 54% plus 4.60 units, ROI plus 2.82%, average line minus 111. And this is what I have left, just totals right now. I have the Arizona Detroit under 47 and a half. That's gone up to 48. I feel good about it, but when it moves a half point away from me, and we'll break down when each guest comes on, we'll break down where the money is and how the market is moving. I mean, I'm uncomfortable that it's gone up. I have the under 44 and a half in Cowboys Giants, and Bebsie got that at 45. So that's dropped to 44. Makes me feel good. We'll see how Bebsie feels about that. I'm also on the Giants team total under 16 and a half. I got that at minus 120. Right now, if I bet that at Bet365 right now, it'd be at 15 and a half at minus 115. So, a point in the right direction. Then I'm on the Tennessee Titans, Pittsburgh Steelers over 41 and a half. That was created together here when we were working on Tuesday night. That wasn't a planned bet coming into the show. That's moved up to 43 and a half. And I feel very good about it. Very, very good about it. We already heard that Slatsy's on Deontay Johnson over receiving props, talking about how weak this Titans secondary is. I feel very good about that spot. And then I'm on the overs on Monday night in Vikings Bears. I got over 44. It's finally moved to 44 and a half. And I've got the Vikings team total over 23 and a half. And that's where I scored. Now that was juiced. It was minus 125. And I don't like that, but it's now up to 26 and a half. And those 3-point moves on team totals feel so goddamn good. Bebsie, let's go over your action and talk about your comfort level. You have your addition. We'll break down the market moves in that game, but let's just talk about your action here first, Bebsie. Cowboys, Giants under 45 at minus 107. It's down to 44 at Bet365. How do you feel about that spot?
Again, I feel good. I have zero trust in the Giants offense to put up points. And look, Dak's been struggling a little bit, and they're not going to need a ton of points to win this game. I think that's a sexy little spot right there.
Yeah, I like it as well. Let's move on to Washington, Philly, under 44 and a half at minus 107. How you feeling there?
Again, another divisional matchup of two, I'm not going to say weak offenses. I'll say underwhelming offenses. Again, the injuries to the Washington side, just the lack of overall consistency from the Philly side. I'm less confident about this spot than I am about the Dallas, New York spot, because I feel like I know what I'm getting with Dallas, New York. A little bit less so with this team, but I'm still pretty comfortable in this spot.
In the Washington Philly spot, that's voided. I should have said that already. That's a voided spot because of the date change.
That game got changed too?
That's on Tuesday night.
Oh, geez.
So that's voided. My fault for asking you about that spot. Let's go to Bengals Broncos. Broncos now 3-point favorites at minus 105. You got minus 1.5 at plus 100. You beat this market move very easily. How are you feeling about that spot?
To be honest with you, I was surprised I got it on Tuesday. This Broncos team is better. They match up super well against this Bengals team. And the uncertainty of Trey Hendrickson, the guy's an absolute beast. So him maybe not being able to play. I don't know what his status is, but I know anytime you're dealing with back issues and you're a D lineman, that's just scary coming into the game. So again, I just think this Broncos secondary is nasty, and they're going to be able to put the clamps on Joe Burrow and his young, talented wide receivers. So again, like the Broncos at home here.
I think it's a really nice spot to be on, and we're going to talk about that game with a few other cappers as well. And then you lose your Rams bet, so the only thing you have left is Packers team total over 23.5. Right now at Bet 365, that Packers team total is up to 27.5. Ooh, God, I haven't beaten a team total by 4 points all year. You also got that at minus 120. You didn't even get that at minus 125. Wow, you beat it by 4 points. How's that feel? Good God.
Feels pretty good. I mean, I have not had the best luck this year, but the last couple weeks, I've really beaten a lot of the market movement, which tells me I'm at least thinking right. So yeah, another spot where I when you see something that just doesn't look right, that's how this team total felt. It's obviously moved in my favor, so I got to feel good about it, but it doesn't matter until the games are played.
I love it. I love it. That's a nice spot. All right, let's talk about your additions. And Jose on the ones and twos producing the show. I can't highlight comments because it's that computer's too far away from me with this setup. So if you could highlight the comments that you like and enjoy as we go throughout the show, that would be wonderful. I don't know how this. A couple cappers said they got Broncos at +4 or 4.5. I don't know how that happened. Ravens just put cornerback Jimmy Smith on COVID list. I can't believe beating a team total by 4 points. I've heard of that towards the under. I don't know if I've ever seen that towards the over in my entire life. That's impressive. All right, let's go to Bebsie's first edition as we go to 1 p.m. Eastern. Carolina Panthers 5-8, 3-3 on the road at Buffalo Bills, 7-6, 3-3 at home at Highmark Stadium in Orchard Park, New York. 29 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 9 miles per hour is the wind. Injuries for the Carolina Panthers: AJ Bouye, their cornerback, out with a foot injury. DJ Moore, hamstring. Offensive lineman Michael Jordan, hamstring. Offensive lineman John Miller, ankle, are questionable. For the Bills, Emmanuel Sanders' knee is out. Star Lodolele with a toe injury. Running back Tywan Jones' knee is questionable. That is where we stand. Let's take a look at the market moves in this spot, and it's been a big, big move. The Bills open up as 11.5-point favorites. They're now 14 or 14.5. This total's gone down a half point, just a half point. When we go over to the cash flow in this spot, we have 40,502 tickets in. 28% of the tickets and 48% of the cash is on Carolina. Yet the market is moving, has moved 3 points. And we see that a lot. We see that a lot at the very end of the market move. Sharps come in and take the other side. But it is interesting. And then from a total standpoint, we have 62% of tickets on the over, 70% of cash on the over, and yet it's not moving. Very, very, very strange market analysis there. Hard to figure that out. But you've moved on to rushing props. You've moved on Josh Allen over 31.5 rush yards at -105. That's higher at a bunch of other books, but it was lower at Bet 365. And then you have Chuba over 43.5 rush yards at -110. Why don't you talk us through these two spots?
Well, I'll hit the Chuba one first because it's probably a little less controversial than the other one. But look, this Carolina Panthers offense doesn't have much going for them at all. And they're going to need to feed Chuba all day. I thought that number was nice and low for I think Hubbard's a solid running back. Obviously, his last year in college was not near as good as the previous year for him. But he listen, the guy can run the ball. And they don't have a lot of options, especially with Cam at quarterback. Oh, dog pulled my cord out. So, yeah, I just like that number. I thought it was very reasonable. The Josh Allen thing, I'm probably going to get a little bit of scrutiny for this, especially if he doesn't hit it because of the ankle injury. But listen, I think if he's going to play, he's going to be ready to go. They have a solid backup. So if he's ready to go, he's going to go. And, he's young. He's probably a little dumb. So he's not going to be thinking about that in game. They're going to pop him full of all kinds of painkillers and be like, get out there, kid. And they have no running game. he is their running game. So if that's the case, I know he's going to take off at least a couple of times. This number, I think, is lower than it would be if he had a completely healthy ankle. So I think I'm getting a little bit of a gift here. I think Josh Allen runs often in this game. I don't think he's going to be hurdling anybody, but I think that's a very attainable number.
Let's go over a couple spots. You now have 4 bets live from our Tuesday show, which is your lowest in some time. You've added 2 player props. One game, and we have a little bit of time here to discuss. So one spot you did not move on is the Falcons 49ers. That's now at 9 right now at Bet365 with a total at 47.5. That opened, here we go, let me pull this up here. That opened at 8 at Bet365. So there's 1 point of movement towards the Niners. And the total's gone up 2.5 points since Bet365's opener. Tasha says, what's the weather in Buffalo? It's cold, but no wind and no real problems. 29 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 9 miles per hour. If you can tell, I lost my voice a little bit, losing my mind when the Aggies started rolling. So I apologize for that. Let's just go over to the cash flow with your Niners against the Falcons spot here. You have 32,923 tickets in. 62% of the tickets on the Niners, 65% of the cash. They're being trusted here. Then you have 40% of tickets, 66% of cash on the under. Yet it's gone up 2.5 points. Why are you staying off of this spot? What are your feelings about this spot?
Well, to be honest with you, if I were to bet, it would be Atlanta or nothing here. I think it's too many points to spot the Niners. They've been inconsistent all year. And look, they've struggled a little bit against the Falcons in recent history, obviously losing a crucial game in 2019. They were lucky enough to stay on top and keep home field advantage after dropping a stinker to them. But with the inconsistent play from this team, it's way too many points to spot Atlanta, who, despite their atrocious point differential, they're one of the worst in the league at, I think, minus 110-ish, somewhere around there. They're still sitting in a position to potentially make the playoffs. So these teams they're 6-7 and 7-6. So a 10-point spread seems like a lot. 9-point spread now, but I don't trust the Niners, and the only thing I've legitimately thought about going in on is taking the Atlanta on this.
Interesting. 62 and 65 on San Francisco. They're expecting a very comfortable beatdown at this point. Let's move on to another spot that I find interesting, and spots that Pistol Pete Loshak won't be talking about here in our next segment, and that's the total here, or we can talk side as well, in Arizona, Detroit. I was quite confident on this under, and it's moved to 48. So it's and 48.5 at other books. Arizona opening up as 13.5 point favorites, now at 12.5 point favorites. Raymond Reichart in the house, Nate Dogg, Gerald Jones, Lance LaRose, Michael Irvalina, Mark Hillingberg. So great, Mark Schillingberg. So great to see all you guys. Thank you for rolling with us. Do you agree with this market move towards the over? Let me just see where the cash lies in the spot, if I should be concerned at all. We have 43% of the tickets on the under and 55% cash on the under. I'm very comfortable with those spots. 67 and 67 spread and cash on these Cardinals. What do you think about this Arizona-Detroit spot?
I'm surprised, to be honest with you. I just don't see – I understand where the points come from Arizona. I don't understand where the points come from Detroit. Is Amon-Ra the guy? Like, I don't know. We talked about this on the show. Some of the cappers in the chat have mentioned this. What is Detroit playing for now? They've got their W. You know, they won their Super Bowl. They got their tie. I just don't see them coming out and putting up a ton of points against this Arizona Cardinals team that is now no longer in the number 1 seed, has the Rams nipping at their heels, and this is a huge game for them. So I see Arizona getting out to a lead and Detroit just not being able to answer it. So I don't know. This total is getting very high. I think the under here is a grab.
I like it. I like it quite a bit. Let's just see what Pinnacle has it and FanDuel has it right now, because it's a spot that I'm very comfortable with. They have it right now at 48 as well, and that's juiced to the over. God, that makes me nervous. Okay, we have a couple more minutes. There's another spot I'd like to ask you about, and that's this New York Jets Miami Dolphins game. 79 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 11 miles per hour. For the Jets, we have George Fant with a knee injury, doubtful. So you have the offensive tackle George Fant, offensive lineman Laurent Duvernay-Tardif with an ankle injury, offensive lineman Dan Feeney with a back injury. You have this beat-up offensive line and a Dolphins defense that's just improving week after week after week. So, and their offense is still pedestrian, where Tua plays conservative. He stays within himself. He doesn't make mistakes. And I'm staring at this 42 to the under, and it's appealing to me. This opened at Bet365 with at 43, so it's dropped a full point. And, that's an important point, no doubt. But 52% of tickets, 64% of cash is on the under. 60% of tickets, 83% cash is on Miami as a beatdown spot. What do you think of this play here, Jets Dolphins?
Look, again, I mean, Jose's got to be used to hearing this shit by now, being a Jets fan, but one team has an excellent defense. It's not the Jets. The other team has an offense that's getting better. That's also not the Jets. So if you're betting this, even with the points, I don't see, even a late season divisional matchup, I don't see anybody in their right mind putting money on the Jets on this one. The Dolphins still have an outside shot to squeak into the playoffs. The Jets are done, and they just frankly don't have the personnel right now to keep up with this surging Miami Dolphins team. As far as the total goes, I think, again, you can't be on anything but the under because you have to – oh, my dog's going nuts here. You have to assume, again, the Jets aren't going to be able to put up a ton of points, and Miami simply won't have to. So an okay offense versus a terrible offense, and then a terrible defense and a good defense. So I can't see a ton of points being manufactured here in this game, especially by the Jets, but Miami simply won't have to have that many points. So they'll play conservatively because they need this win.
I was talked off of this under on Tuesday night, and I let that happen. But why are you not on the Dolphins -10? Is that just too many points?
I think it's just too many points. It's still a 6-7 team, as well as they are playing. It's still a 6-7 team that struggled at times, and who knows? The Jets could get some late game points here. You could see a backdoor cover. I just think it's too many points. I wouldn't condemn anybody for taking them. And if you gave me a free play, I would take exactly that. But it's just a lot of points for an average team.
I agree, Bebsie. I agree. I'm lukewarm on that side, but the total still seems appealing. We've had Professor Chris saying this game shows a total of 42.64 points for me. And the RZA thinks Dolphins put up 24 and the Jets probably 14 or 17. And that's a comfortable cash of the under. Comfortable cash of the under. Hoops 590. I hate hearing that, man. Let's get still 400s of pain. Let's get that back for you, my man. Bebsie, let's review Bebsie's action one more time. He's got just 3 bets left, actually. I said 4. Sorry, 3 bets left. He's got Dallas Giants under 45 -107, Broncos -1.5 +100, Packers team total over 23.5. Those are from the Tuesday show on any game that hasn't been moved with a date switch. And then his additions are Josh Allen over 31.5 rush yards and Chuba over 43.5 rush yards. Bebsie, enjoy your Sunday, my friend. Thank you for joining us and getting the show rolling. And I will be in touch, my friend. Thank you for all that you do for us, my man.
Jimmy, enjoy bright, sunny California.
I will. There he is. Bebsie, follow him at Rob_Bebenek. Let's bring on your next guest. And I am extremely impressed on what he's done in this show. And now I know how he caps, and I can imagine COVID just making him bang his head against the wall with all the changes that are happening. And one of the games I get to send him the games, and I send him the games that I really want to hear broken down. And one of them was Seattle Seahawks and LA Rams, which has been switched to Tuesday. So I can't wait to hear about that. But look at the consistency of our next guest. Week 1, 2-1 plus 0.86 units. Week 11, 2-1 plus 1.03 units. Week 14, 2-1 plus 0.82 units. Will he keep it rolling? My co-host on Tuesdays, and this Tuesday he'll be riding solo. The Pistol Pete Loshak show will be here on Tuesday, but he's here with us right now. Please welcome to the show, Mr. Lodels Loshak in the house. Pete, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing all right, Jimmy the Bag. It's these are always very tough games. I do my best, and I will say that I think that a lot of people are like, well, what, if Jimmy, if you assign him the games. Just assign him every game. How about that, genius? How about that? That is a genius. And the reason that I've done relatively well in this small sample size of games is, again, what I say from the beginning. I've said it over and over again. How much you can chew, how much you bite off is a huge, huge issue. So if I'm looking in depth at 3 games, looking closely, and I do well with them, it's not necessarily because I'm just that good of a handicapper. It's not because even that those games necessarily have angles that other people aren't seeing. It's just that, when you don't bite off more than you can chew, usually it helps your handicapping tremendously. And I think that's the story of what I've done so far here, Jimmy the Bag.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because I had a beer with Wham Bam and DJ Big Boss and my dad last night at halftime at SoFi at Utah State, Oregon State. And we talked about exactly that. And I've been using it quite heavily. Now, I'm coming off a really rough 2 weeks, which the timing has been terrible for. But when I was leading up to that, I really thought it was because I was thinking that over and over again. Don't try to do too much. Don't try to do too much, because it's something that I often do. So we love your guidance, Pete, and I can't wait to hear your breakdowns of these spots. And again, when Pete comes on the show, he gives you the lines that are available right now. I have a whole bunch of books open to give him the best lines, but that also makes it very difficult. Let's get to work. We start at 1 p.m. Eastern. Tennessee Titans 9-4, 4-2 on the road at Pittsburgh Steelers 6-1, 4-2-1 at home. We're at Heinz Field in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. 36 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy. 8 miles per hour is the wind. The Titans have their fullback Torrey Carter with an ankle injury. Roger Saffold the third with a shoulder injury. He's an offensive guard. Defensive tackle Tierra Tart's been hurt for a long time, but never has been put on the IR, dealing with an ankle injury. And defensive lineman Larry Murchison, linebacker David Long, hamstring, cornerback Jack Rabbit Jenkins, ankle, all out. So they've just continued to deal with these injury issues. Then offensive lineman Aaron Brewer with a toe injury is questionable. For the Steelers, Buddy Johnson, foot is out. Their linebacker there, tight end Kevin Rader, hip. Defensive end Isaiah Buggs, ankle. And cornerback Joe Hayden with a foot injury. There is a chance that Joe Hayden will be in the lineup at this point. He's missed the last 4 games. TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith, TJ Watt with a groin injury, Alex Highsmith with a quad injury, will both be in the lineup, which is very helpful for these Steelers. I got on the over 41.5. It has moved to 43.5, so I feel very good there. But there's been a big market move towards the Pittsburgh Steelers, and it has to be the idea that these defenders are coming back. I can't wait to hear your breakdown, because this opened up -2 for the Titans on the road at Bet365, and now they're +1 here at Bet365. When we go over the cash flow in this spot, we have 38,106 tickets in. 56% of the tickets, 66% of the cash is on the Titans, and the market's moved to the Steelers. Then you have 39% of tickets on the under and 82% of cash on the under, and yet it's moved up 2 points. Let's see if we can get clarity in this spot from a man who has won money every single time he's joined NFL Pub Hub. Take it away, Pistol Pete.
Yeah. Okay. I like the Steelers as well. When you said it, a big move to the Steelers, I was worried that there was like a big move in the last like 2 minutes. Yeah. From opening, there's a big move to the Steelers.
Yeah.
But when I started capping this game hardcore, it was still a -1. I like the Steelers, and I think I might give the Steelers first half as my official play here, as opposed to a full game. You know, the Steelers, of course, are flawed. Roethlisberger is not what he was, obviously years ago. And, the Steelers defense is still a liability. Their defensive numbers overall are awful, but they're going to be healthier here than they have been in a long time, and that definitely matters. Obviously, it's a huge game. It's going to be a dogfight. They're going to give everything that they've got here, and if that is what happens with Pittsburgh, they know that they have just started off games terribly all year long, and that's just like embarrassing. It's pointless. It makes that last week they were down 30-0 or whatever, and they came roaring back. And so if they bring it in this game, probably it's the whole game, but it's definitely going to be the first half. Tennessee is also a flawed team. They're winning despite not really having big weapons on offense, and so it's if the Steelers run defense statistically is horrific, and if they're horrific again, obviously they're probably going to lose, but I think it's worth a decent bet that the defense improves to close to the top level where they can play. Roethlisberger comes in and they have a decent game plan to start the game and to not put themselves behind the 8 ball. And so I do like Pittsburgh, and I think I'm going to make my official play Pittsburgh Steelers first half. Right now I'm seeing at Pinnacle moneyline Steelers first half, pick them -107. So I think I'll make that one my official play. I kind of like that one. The Steelers got to come. They got to bring it here. They got to bring it early. Roethlisberger's playing well after he announced he's going to retire. If they don't, I'll eat the loss. But at -107, I think it's worth a bet. So that's my bet on this one. First half -107.
Steelers first half -107, which also plays against everything that we saw in the last Steelers game where they showed us nothing in the first half and then came on big in the second half. So I kind of like playing off of that angle.
I mean,
I like that.
They got to bring it. What are they going to be like? They're going to go into the locker room and going to be like, guys, at halftime, we're going to be down 24, but this time we're going to come back and fucking win. No, that's not what they're saying. They're saying, let's be down by only 10 maybe at that. Let's be up at the half. How about that? You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's an educated guess here, but it's in their heads. They know they've started games poorly, and they've got to be planning for that here,
I like the look. We get Pistol Pete's account rolling with Steelers first half -107. And what do you think about my look on the over? Did you study it from a total standpoint? I felt like that under was too low, but I think the angle that pushed me over the top with the bet might not have been the most important angle, and that was simply that the Titans played so conservatively in their 20-0 victory over the Jags. They didn't have to do anything. But here against the Steelers, they're going to have to put up some points, and I don't know if that was the best angle for me to kind of bank on, but I am on the over 41.5. What do you think of it?
41.5.
Yeah.
Oh, very nice. Whoa! It's 43, heavily juiced to the over now.
Yeah, I got it on Tuesday when we broke down the show. I believe. Did I even have to pay any? Yeah, I didn't even have to pay any juice. It was just over 41.5 -110.
Well, if I say anything other than that it was a great bet, all the the quant nerds will call me an idiot, which maybe I am. No, statistically, I like it a lot. I think that Pittsburgh's run defense will improve here, but it's still a bad run defense, and they're vulnerable to getting sliced up at any time. And Roethlisberger is I think that there's going to be it's going to be a pass heavy game from Pittsburgh, and I think he's going to have success there. I was thinking about maybe giving player props on like some player props for Pittsburgh receivers, like maybe Deontay Johnson over 6.5 receptions, or I'm trying to think of who's the other one. His name is Claypool, right? Claypool making up for what happened last week with his yardage over prop. I'm not sure what it is right now, but let me see what the lines are for those. I was thinking about giving those too. I don't know if I want to quadruple up here, but I think it's going to be a pass heavy game for Pittsburgh, and I think they're going to have some success. And I think that Tennessee should have success in the run game, and they should use their play action a lot more than they have for some reason. I mean, the problem is Tennessee doesn't have a really good offensive coordinator. He kind of sucks with his play calling. They should be using play action a lot more, and they're not. If they do, that'll probably be very successful as well. So, yeah, I kind of like the under. The only thing that makes me nervous is that it might be a bang them out, drag it out, whatever they call that kind of game, because it's such an intense atmosphere. So it might, it feels like one of those old Steelers games against the Oilers from like the 70s or whatever. So that's the only reason that I would be concerned about it. But statistically, I like the over. Obviously, the line move that you beat is extremely impressive. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. Deontay Johnson, 6.5, over -136. I don't think I'll give that officially, but that looks like a decent play. And let me see, what else do we have here? Yeah, I'm not seeing anything. Let me see. Let me see. Where is the Claypool yardage prop? Yeah, 54.5, -118 for yardage. That I think he'll have a strong game here as well. And I think there's going to be a lot of passing from Roethlisberger. I think we'll be relatively successful. So yeah, if I really had some balls, I'd give both of those and triple up here. Pittsburgh's vulnerable, though. Again, if Tennessee comes in and they're having success in the running game, and then they start, calling the play action, and that's successful, yeah, they'll be they'll be down by 20 again. But what can I tell you?
Well, you often talk about capping the capper, and I've tried just to completely cut player props out of my arsenal completely after going over my ROI last year off of them. And when you went on Mike Evans over 60.5 receiving yards, I don't remember you giving out a player prop ever. Yeah. And when you did that, I even said it on the show. I'm like, wow, Pete's giving a player prop. This should be an automatic tail. And that you cashed that so easily. It was an excellent bet. Let's move on, Pete. We move on to your next spot on the board that I gave you, 4:05 p.m. Eastern. Cincinnati Bengals, 7-6, 4-2 on the road at Denver Broncos, 7-6, 4-3 at home. Mile High, Denver, Colorado, 57 Fahrenheit, sunny, 6 miles per hour. It looks like offensive tackle Riley Reif's done for the year. Logan Wilson was expected to be back in Week 15. We thought he was only going to miss Week 14. He's out again. So is cornerback Chidobe Awuzie. Those are big losses. And then center Trey Hill is sick. Isaiah, we know what's going on with illnesses right now. Isaiah Prince, Vernon Hargraves, they're all questionable. Marcus Bailey has a neck injury. When we go over to the market moves in this game, I can't wait to hear you break this down. Broncos open up at -1.5, and that's where Bebsie got them. He got -1.5 at +100. They're now -3 right now. This total's gone from 43.5 to 44. A big shout out here to our guy, Don't Ask, Don't Tail. I like it like that. Don't ask, don't tail. Looking after us. Thank you so much for the dono, man. You've always had our back, and it means so much. We be pubbing, my man, and thank you for your support. So here in the spot for the Broncos, Javonte Williams has been dealing with his knee injury. He is expected to play. And Melvin Gordon, who's been whining about how much the fans love Javonte Williams, is dealing with thumb and hip injuries. He's also expected to play. Shelby Harris, defensive end, is questionable. Kareem Jackson, safety, is questionable. Kenny Young is doubtful. It doesn't look like he's going to get through concussion protocol, a linebacker there. And Draymond Jones is also doubtful, defensive end. But this is a pretty healthy group right now, and they're being bet as such. Let's just take a quick look at the cash here in this game. We have 36,063 tickets in. 33% of the tickets are on the Broncos. So Bengals are Chargers, Bengals are public, but 67% of the cash is on the Broncos. So big bets coming on the Broncos. 38% of tickets on the under, 47% cash on the under. Take it away here, Pistol Pete, your next spot on the board, Bengals Broncos.
Yeah, this one I might, I don't know. I don't want to pass on any of these games, but I might have to pass on this one because these two teams are very evenly matched statistically, and it's basically just going to come down to execution. I think. I mean, it's basically going to be where are we? Yeah, wait, hold on one second. Yeah, it's basically going to come down to Denver's run game against Cincinnati's run defense, and then if they need Teddy Bridgewater to bail him out, how much he'll be able to. And Cincinnati, I'd be leaning Cincinnati if they didn't have all these injuries coming up, because on the offensive line, who's it going to? It's going to be Fred Johnson, right, starting at right tackle. So that's a wild card right there. Obviously, that's not a good sign. But then again, a lot of times when these guys get these kinds of opportunities, they do rise to the occasion, at least for one game. And then the other thing is just that it seems like, psychologically, this is a non-quantifiable factor, but it just seems like the Broncos, since Peyton Manning left, these are the kinds of games that they lose. These must-win games, they just seem to come up short. Under this coach, and it just makes me nervous. Cincinnati, of course, has been great on the road all year long. So it just feels like a game where the Broncos are going to disappoint. And Cincinnati is also a team that's unpredictable. They seem to lose the games they're supposed to win and win the games that they're supposed to lose. So those are that makes me nervous. If I could get pick them on the game, I'd probably throw it on Denver. But at -3, that's pushing it. Broncos defense is excellent though, and they have the playmakers to hold down Cincinnati. So it's just it's a matter of execution and unquantifiable intangibles. Which team is more mentally unsound here, and both these teams are unpredictable. So it's hard. I don't have a pick coming into this segment, and I think I might just pass on it. Let me see what the team totals are.
You don't have to be forced to move on the spot here. This is when you cap, we listen and it's capping 101. And if you see a spot that I've given you where you don't want to move on it, that's completely legitimate.
I mean, this one is really, really tough just because statistically it's so even. We know that both these teams are totally dead even. And again, it's just about execution, which of course, 90% of all games just about execution, but there are usually signs that point to one thing or the other being more or less likely happening than the market's giving credit for. But this one, I don't know. It's just an educated guess. Who's going to win out, the Broncos run game or the Cincinnati run defense? I think the Broncos run game. And how much will they need to rely on Bridgewater to bail him out, and how well will he be able to do it? I think probably okay. I was thinking maybe a player prop with that Broncos wide receiver Sutton, right? Because the Bengals have injuries at cornerback, and Sutton sort of underachieved recently. So let me see what the Sutton props are. Where are they? I'm looking down. Any comments coming in, agreeing or disagreeing with anything, or shedding some light on it?
Yeah. By the way, Lance, it's pretty nice the weather today. If in Colorado, 57 Fahrenheit, 76 miles per hour. Rob Stevenson says Cincinnati +3 must win, and he's the hottest capper that we work with right now. Really? Rob Stevenson just did what he's doing right now is unbelievably impressive. And Elliot V says 4 games left. They need this. Bengals have a higher ceiling.
Yeah, and I mean, based on the intangibles, which is, Cincinnati kind of wins when they're not supposed to and loses when they're supposed to, combined with Denver just kind of face planting in these must-win games with this new regime, that makes sense to me, So, 3, that's a lot. It's just, I guess if you gave me a free play right now, especially after hearing that, I would put it on the Bengals at +3 -108. Yeah, giving them a full field goal. I'm not going to bet this game, though, and it's very, very tough.
Michael Robinson also on Cincinnati +3. Not Flash Allen says, I'm on Cincinnati in a blowout. Denver coming off all the emotions, right? Because they had that huge game, with Demarius.
Right.
Death, so.
Wow. Nutflesh Allen So Nutflesh Allen looks at this game and he's like, this is not a tough game. This is not dead on. The lines are way off.
But this is surprising me. that all of our cappers have so much confidence going up against this giant market move towards the Broncos. But Nutflush is the first to bring up how emotional last week was.
Yeah, and also, I mean, the Bengals clearly have explosive young talent. They just kind of like they're inconsistent, and it feels like they're looking for the home run more than they should, and they don't focus that well. They just make a lot of mental mistakes. But if they play a clean, sound game, then I would definitely prefer them. I mean, I would give a big edge to Burrow over, even with the pinky injury, over Bridgewater, and yeah, I mean, the talent is there. It's just that the Broncos have a defense that can contain their playmakers. So it's wow. But Nutflush Allen, see there. I think there's a pick right there. Should I make an official play, a live tail of Nutflush Allen? I think I will. What about that, Jimmy the Bag?
Well, my love for Nutflush Allen, and I will be seeing him soon, very, very soon.
All right,
Mike,
let's do that. You can throw it on my official record. A live tale of Nutflush Allen and the other guy who said it's the hottest cap. What's his name again?
Rob Stevenson.
Both liking the Bengals, huh?
Yeah, this is surprising. I'm very interested in here. Let's get you the best line possible.
Yeah, I'm seeing 3 minus 108 at Pinnacle.
Yeah, let me just see if Circa could possibly be. I'll also check out FanDuel, but yeah, it's 2.5 at Circa. So +3 right now. Wow, I did not expect this to move in that direction. And we have our first capper on the other side, and it was it. Let's go. Brandon said, "Nope, you will see Denver win convincingly here." Okay, let's move on to the final spot. And how are you going to?
I made that official, right, Jim?
I did. I made it official.
All right, I'll make it. All right. What'd you say?
Oh, but you don't have to make it official.
Oh, gosh, I don't know. I mean, I was leaning Denver at Pick'em. At that line, I would have taken Denver. But it's just that they're such an unreliable team psychologically. And Cincinnati. All right, yeah, I'll take Cincinnati. +3 minus 108. I'll take it.
All right. We're going for Pistol Pete going for his fourth, going 4 for 4 on winning shows here.
You know what? I think I might rather take the Cincinnati team total over, even though Denver has such a strong defense.
Okay, well, let me line shop at a couple different books for you for that.
20 and then 20.5 minus 105 at Pinnacle.
Sorry, can you hit me with that again?
20.5 minus 105 at Pinnacle.
Over 20.5 at minus 105. Okay, last spot on the board, Pete. How are you going to deal with this? It's this game that's now moved to Tuesday night, and so many moving parts with COVID. And the Rams are now 6.5-point favorites, which is, I guess, right around that, where it opened at this point when it opened on the Tuesday. Pete, what do you want to do with this game? Total sitting at 45.5 and the COVID issues all over it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to make a pick on it. I'm seeing 46. I was leaning when I was capping it. It was around 45, and I was thinking about giving the over. Now it's up to 46. I mean, Seattle's offense is obviously improving now with Wilson back, and although who's out for the people are out for Seattle too, right? Or possibly out.
Yeah, it's a mess right now. The most of the spots aren't really letting us know exactly. They're holding off on giving it, but just from a simple injury report that gets updated all the time, we have Tyler Lockett was not going to be able to play on Sunday, and either was Alex Collins.
Right. Will
they now be able to play because it's moved to Tuesday? Is the big question here, and that's
yeah. And LA is. I think their offense will be fine, no matter who's as long as Stafford's in there and Cooper Kupp. I think they're probably going to be okay. And Seattle's defense, I think, is a little bit worse than statistically. Is Metcalf in? I'm seeing. I think he's questionable as well, right?
I don't have him on this injury report. Let me just move over here.
Anyway, yeah, I was definitely leaning over. I think no matter who's in for both teams, as long as Stafford and Wilson are in there, it'll be, probably a relatively lively offensive game. So that's definitely the way I'm leaning over. Although I'm seeing 46 right now at Pinnacle. You're seeing 45.5.
Yeah, I have a 45.5 at minus 110 right now at Bet365. And I have you're right. Oh, no, another 45.5 at circa minus 107 to the over.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be leaning over, but I think there's no way without knowing who's going to be in, there's no way I can really give an official play there. So maybe I'll skip out on this.
Okay,
one.
but because this was part of your show, if you do make a move on it on Tuesday, we can make that official for your Pub Hub record if you'd like. Up to you. There he is, Pistol Pete Loshak again. 3 appearances on the show. He's gone 2-1 on each appearance, which is very impressive and consistent. He's 6-3 plus 2.71 units overall. He's on the Steelers first half minus 107, and he's on the Bengals team total over 20.5 at minus 105. A play that was inspired by the great cappers in the chat, like Nutflush Allen and Rob Stevenson. Pistol Pete, love working with you. Riding solo on Tuesday. I will be cheering you on from afar. And just know your love, buddy. Thank you for joining us. There he goes. Let's see. We have any last words from Pete? Let's see. We bring him back for a last. No, he just bounced. Okay. Quick bounce from Pete. A laugh and a bounce. Okay, we move on to the next spot, and making his triumphant return, a man we haven't seen in a long time, not since week 9, as he graced our show, NFL Pub Hub, and he's in action right now, coming to us live from Hamilton, Ontario. Please welcome Babano to the show. Babano, how are you, my guy?
What's up, Jimmy? I hope you're enjoying California. I know you checked out the Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl. Did you see our good guy, DJ Big Boss, down there? I sure hope you did, because he was supposed to be at the bowl game last night. But it was a good bowl game, and it's great to see Peter Loshak, by the way. I'm glad he's doing stuff with you again. I never thought I'd see the day he'd have more hair on his face than me, or I'd have more hair on my face than him. But that's the way it is right now. But good to be with you, Jimmy.
Yeah, it's great to have you. It's great to have Loshak rolling with us, man. And yes, I had a beer with both Wham Bam and DJ Big Boss and my dad. It was, it was his enjoy. You rarely get nights in life where you'll remember for the rest of your life, and last night was one of them. I enjoyed it immensely. They both cashed on Utah State money line. I cashed on the plus 7.5, and I doubled up because my dad asked me to send in a bet on the Beavers for him, and I did not send it in. So it was,
boy.
It was glorious. But Bono, on this show, you've had 3 good weeks. You've had 1 week that hurt you, but if you would put a line through that 1 week, and you're in the top 3 in this contest, not contest, but you'd be on top 3 in our leaderboard. So you just have 1 week. It was week 6 that held you back here, but you've been very strong in the other 3 weeks. And I also don't know what your action is, so it makes it more exciting for me. Let's get right to work. We start at 1 p.m. Eastern. There's North Ender in the house. Great to see you guys. Brian saying, Babano, great info yesterday on your show. And it's great. I just love working with you.
It was a long show, 3 hours, so hopefully we gave you something.
3 hours. Nice. Arizona Cardinals 10-3, 7-0 on the road. Detroit Lions 1-11-1, 1-5 at home. Ford Field in Detroit, Michigan. We know that DeAndre Hopkins, it looks like, might be done for the year, or I don't know if that's been confirmed that he is done for the year. Cornerback Rob Alford, pectoral out. James Conner, we've just heard from our guy Nuke Worker that Conner is in. Zach Ertz, hamstring. Offensive line Justin Pugh, ankle. Defensive tackle Corey Peters, knee. Defensive tackle Zach Kerr, ribs. You got defensive tackle Fotu, shoulder. Defensive end Jordan Phillips, thumb. All questionable. For the Lions, DeAndre Swift remains out. Okwara, their outside linebacker, is out with an ankle injury. Josh Reynolds, Jonah Jackson, their offensive guard, and offensive tackle Will Holden. Defensive end Michael Brockers. Linebacker Alex Anzalone, ankle. Jalen Reeves, Maben, shoulder, all questionable. So a lot of injury issues in this game. This total's gone from 47.5 to 48. From a spread perspective, this Arizona team opened up at 13.5, is now at 12.5. And from a cash flow perspective here, we have 32% of the tickets, 33% of the cash on the Lions, 44% of the tickets, 62% of cash on the under. Babano, take it away. Your first game on the card, Cardinals, Lions.
Yeah, sometimes when things get tougher late in the season, you don't want to overthink it and overcomplicate it. And that's exactly what I'm doing here. I'm not overthinking it. I'm not overcomplicating it. We've got an Arizona team that's 7-0 straight up, 7-0 against the spread on the road this year. They've played their best football away from home, all 7 wins by 10 points or more. This is a Detroit team that I really think they were all in to get that first win, which they got a couple of weeks ago. And we saw last week against Denver, they just got steamrolled. And that same, urgency, if you will, and intensity just was not there. They know this is a team going nowhere. They got the win to avoid the winless season. And I think they're in tough here. Like, the offense is broken. It's hard for them to move the football without DeAndre Swift in the run game. And now, to make matters worse, Jimmy, this is a terrible receiving core. And the one receiving threat was the great tight end, TJ Hawkinson. And now he's injured for the Detroit Lions. So where does Jared Goff go throwing the football for this team? I'm not sure. Look, the defense is wearing down. I think we saw signs of it against Denver. Arizona's coming off a loss to the Rams. I know it's a short week and you're traveling. That's always the one concern. But I certainly think they will bounce back strong. And certainly no DeAndre Hopkins hurts, but there's more than enough receiving talent to go around for Arizona to pick on a weaker team and a weaker secondary. And I think the focus will be there because, look, the Rams are now just 1 game behind Arizona for the division. So this all of a sudden becomes an important game. Not to mention Arizona still got eyes on the number 1 seed in the NFC. They're battling Tampa. They're battling Green Bay for that spot. So I don't think there's any lack of focus. And like I say, late in the season, when any team is focused to beat a bad football team, chances are they'll beat that team and beat them handily. So I'm going to go with a split bet here. Arizona -7, -115 in the first half in this game. You can find that at DraftKings right now. And I'm also going to go with Arizona in the full game. Currently, you can get that also -12.5 at DraftKings right now. So a double up spot for me. First half, full game, Arizona.
That first half, -7 was at -115. What was the full game at?
-110.
-110. Babano is on the board, backing Arizona first half and full game. Let's keep rolling. Next up, we have the New York Jets at Miami Dolphins, Hard Rock Stadium, Miami Gardens, Florida, 79 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 11 miles per hour. We've talked about the injury situation, and it's heavily based on the Jets' offensive line being banged up. The Dolphins are a pretty healthy squad, but this Jets' offensive line is a mess. And Babano, I got talked off the under on Tuesday from the chat, and now I'm still wanting it, and I can't wait to hear a breakdown because I even have an interest on the side here, but I did get talked off. I have no action in this spot. We have the move, I said, from 40 to 42 and to 10, and then we have cash flow in this game. We have 39,808 tickets in, 59% of the tickets, 78% of cash on the Dolphins, and I get it. And then you have 53% of tickets, 83% of cash on the under, and I'm not on it, and I want to be. Let's hear what Babano has to say about this spot, Jets Dolphins.
Well, I'm going to be that man on the island with the total in this game. I like the over, and that's actually going to be an official play. I actually bet it at 41. It's gone back up to 42, and I'm still going to recommend it at 42 official for the show here. And the reason for that is because I just think it's too low for this Jets defense. I mean, they're that bad. They're that terrible of a defense. They've not really shown any improvement this year. The Saints don't really have a whole lot offensively. They've got Alvin Kamara, who just came back from injury last week, and they've got Taysom Hill trying to run the ball. They don't have much of a passing game right now, the Saints, and that team still hung a 30 spot on the board last week against this horrible Jets defense. Now, there are concerns for Miami. It's not an explosive offense. They're more of a short to intermediate passing game. With Tua Tagovailoa. They're not necessarily the type of team that stretches the field, but you don't have to be. You can be efficient. You can move the chains. I expect them to. I don't love the fact that Jalen Waddle's not going to play for Miami. That does hurt a little bit. But nevertheless, I think they're going to hang at least 30, 31 in this game, and you need maybe 10, 14 points out of the Jets here in this game. The concern is, are you going to get that? There's injuries on the O-line for the Jets. Zach Wilson looked completely lost. I can't stress it enough. He looked completely lost last week against the Saints. He was terrible. And the more you watch him, you wonder, boy, is this another swing and a miss for a quarterback for the New York Jet franchise? But boy, he was bad last week. Miami's defense has been really, really good. However, I kind of think we are seeing and that's the reason why I didn't lay the points now with Miami, Jimmy. Remember, I've said this before when I think about teams that are playing well and then they have their bye week, teams that are on a win streak and then they have their bye week. That's not always a good thing. Look what happened to the Patriots last night. They were rolling going into their bye week. They had the bye week. What happened last night? They lost to the Colts. Their defense didn't look great. Their offense was shaky. They're giving up a bad special teams miscue with the block punt. I worry that the bye week disrupts momentum when a team is on a win streak going into the bye week. And that's kind of what we have here with Miami. They were rolling going into the bye, but now they have the bye. And that's what's making me a little bit hesitant to lay this many points with them. I know I don't want the Jets, but I don't know if I want to lay this many with Miami. I do think we can just see enough points, though, to creep this game over the total at 42, though.
Well, this is what this show's all about. The chat talked me off of it on Tuesday, and my own bullishness wants to still move on it. And you've talked me off of it today, so it won't be a move for me. But Bono on the board again, over 42 minus 110. Let's move on to Titans, Steelers. We've talked all about the injuries. We know that Watt and Highsmith will be playing for Pittsburgh. We had Loshak give us that Pittsburgh Steelers first half at minus 107. I'm on the over. I got 41.5 on Tuesday, and that's up to 43.5, and it's juiced to the over at 43.5. We have 42,418 tickets in. 55% of the cash, 55% of the tickets, 66% of the cash on the Titans. Yet this market, and this is not a recent move, as Pistol was pointing out, has moved from the Titans being favorites to the Steelers being favorites. 39% of tickets, 84% of cash on the under, which makes me a little uncomfortable. Take it away here, Babano. Titans, Steelers.
Sometimes I'm not that big of a spot handicapper. Oh, I'm betting this team because they're in a great spot. But I'm going to make an exception here in this game. This is a truly great spot for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It really, really is. This is kind of like a save your season kind of game for them. Because look, I think it's done for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's done for Mike Tomlin, and it's probably done for the great career of Ben Roethlisberger if they lose this game today. 6-7. I don't see a path to the playoffs if they lose this game today. It's got that feel to it. The players, to a man for the Steelers all week long, are talking about how important this game is, and I expect them to play like it here. They've actually played good football at Heinz Field, 4-2-1 straight up this year at home, the Pittsburgh Steelers. They played better at home than they have on the road. The more I watch this Tennessee offense, Jimmy, without Derrick Henry, without A.J. Brown, who's also not going to play today. The good news is they at least will have Julio Jones, but the more you watch it, they're having some big-time problems. The offense didn't look impressive against the Patriots when that loss. They didn't look impressive against the lowly Houston Texans when they lost that game. They shut out Jacksonville last week 20-0, but that offense struggled. They bogged down in the red zone. They're having trouble finishing drives. The offensive line's not protecting Tannehill as well. The run game's not as strong. There's issues with this Tennessee offense. And even in the win against the Rams weeks and weeks ago, 2 pick sixes by Matthew Stafford in that game led to some of the 28 points. It's not like the offense went up and down the field against the Rams. They've got problems on offense. And I think with Pittsburgh having Highsmith and Watt on the field, I think Joe Hayden, one of the top corners on this team, is also on the field and will play. I mean, I think they're going to have a tough time moving the ball here a little bit against Pittsburgh. They'll get some points, but I think Pittsburgh defensively will be able to do enough to hold them to field goals and not touchdowns. Well, I think the Pittsburgh offense will do some damage here with Najee Harris running the football. The Tennessee defense, we've seen them the last few weeks really get carved up a little bit. We saw what New England did to them in that game. I throw out the Jacksonville game. That was a hopeless team in the final game with Urban Meyer. But I think the Steelers, with that balanced attack, they'll be able to do some damage here against the Titans defense. And more than anything, this is just a truly, truly great spot for Pittsburgh. Save your season type of spot. Extra time, too. They played Thursday night last week against Minnesota. So a little bit of extra time to get ready for this game. I think it's a terrific situation. A good enough price. Pick 'em price. I like Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh locked in. Would you rather have them -1 at -101 or money line at -108?
We'll do money line -108.
Moneyline Steelers. Babano is rolling. Steelers moneyline -108. That's available right now at Pinnacle. And shout out to Carlos Smith, who's capping with his wife Cece, listening for the first time. Couples that cap together stay together, man. You're a lucky man, Carlos Smith. You're a very lucky man to get the cap with your wife. So respect. Let's move on to the next spot. And got to speed it up a little bit. 1 p.m. Eastern, we have Jacksonville Zo in our chat. Jacksonville Zo having a great season here on the show. And he goes to all the Jacksonville games. So he can't be on the show when Jacksonville is at home. We have Texans at Jacksonville. Jacksonville fresh off the firing of Urban Meyer. 77 Fahrenheit, cloudy, 13 miles per hour. Texans have Justin Reed out. their defensive back. And then Rex Burkhead also with hip and quad injuries. This is already a weak rushing attack. Tight end Brevin Jordan and linebacker Kevin Pierre-Louis are hamstring and wrist injuries. And then for the Jags, Carlos Hyde is a concussion. This is a very healthy group that just got rid of their coach. And as Zo says, historically, a nice situation for a team. How are you moving here? Because, Babano, we've had a big market move towards these Jacksonville Jaguars. They opened up at 3. They're now -5.5. They're now -6 at some books. Wow. Market moving quickly towards them. Let's just take a look at the cash flow on them because it must be mighty. We have here, let's grab this. Sorry, we have 34,285 tickets in. It's 50-50 ticket-wise, but 86% of the cash on the Jags, 52% tickets on the under, 43% cash on the under. Take it away.
Yeah, I mean, the moment Urban Meyer got fired, I hopped on Jacksonville -3, and that's the number I got like Thursday night, whenever it was. I think it was Thursday night when it ended up happening, and I knew it had to move. I didn't know it would move this much, and even at -5.5, I'm going to make him an official play. I mean, I expect so much spirit, so much life, and just so much love of the game to come back for Jacksonville today, because really that's been taken away from them by that all the crap behind the scenes with Meyer and everything that went on. I think it's a cleansing of the locker room. You know, I think you're going to see this team play one hell of a game today and want to finish the season strong. And I think they know too, this is the best chance to win a game the rest of the season against this Houston team. And I think you're going to see them play with that kind of energy. Let's not forget, Jacksonville's defense hasn't played that poorly. You know, even last week against Tennessee, they came up with stops and they've held Tennessee out of the end zone quite a bit in that game. That defense has actually been solid at times. The Atlanta game, they didn't play that bad. Can they get something out of this offense? Because obviously Trevor Lawrence, we expected at least a little bit more than what we've seen from him so far. 4 interception game against Tennessee. I think he was one of the players for Jacksonville that was most vocal about this being, you know, a new sense, a new era, a new sense of energy for this team after Urban got let go. I'd expect him to have one of his better games. You mentioned Houston's defense. Look, Houston's defense was actually playing well a large part of the year, Jimmy, but guess what? That defense is falling apart. They've been on the field too much. The offense is going 3 and out with Davis Mills too much. David Culley's a lame duck coach. He's going to be one and done. He's not coming back. It's a brutal situation here for Houston. They lost 31-0 to the Colts. They lost to the lowly Jets by 7, and they get crushed by Seattle last week. Seattle had trouble protecting Wilson for a couple of weeks. The offensive lines had some issues for Seattle, and Houston doesn't even get close to getting a sack on Wilson last week. There was no pass rush at all. I think this is a chance for Lawrence and the offense to finally gain some traction, put points on the board, have a good game, and I think the defense will shut down this just horrendous Houston offense and a very limited quarterback in Davis Mills, and I expect the energy and the spirit to be back for this Jaguars team. So we'll lay the 5.5 and make it an official play, even though it's not the best of the number.
Well, we can actually give you a 5 available at circa
right,
-109. So let's do that. On the board here with the Jags. Let's move on. We got 2 games left and we got to be tight with them. 4:05 p.m. Eastern. Atlanta Falcons, San Francisco 49ers. We talked about this spot off the top of the show. Falcons are a pretty healthy group. They have safety Eric Harris dealing with the chest injury and Dante Fowler Jr. Harris is out, but Dante Fowler Jr. with a calf injury questionable. Niners are banged up as always. Elijah Mitchell, concussion knee. Defensive lineman Maurice Hurst, calf. Dre Greenlaw, groin, all out. Aziz Al-Shair, doubtful, not expected to play. And I'm surprised that he's not just listed as out right now. So this is a messed up team. And safety Jaquiski Tart is also banged up. But in saying all that, the market's moved towards them. They've gone from -8 to -9. It's actually back to 8.5 at Bet365. This total opened up at 45. It's now at 47.5. And from a cash flow situation, we talked about it earlier in the show. 60% of the cash on the Niners, 60% of the tickets on the Niners, 69% of the cash, and 40% of the tickets on the under, 68% of cash. Take it away, Babano. The floor is yours, Falcons, Niners.
Yeah, this is a side and total for me in this game. We're on Atlanta plus the points, and we're on the over in this game, Falcons and Niners. Look, Niners defense isn't really good. I mean, it just isn't at the moment. They gave up 30 to Seattle. I was shocked how poorly they played in that game. They struggled against Minnesota, gave up 26, 26-23. They let the Bengals back into the game last week. They've still got injuries on that side of the ball. You look at Atlanta, 6-7. It's a big game for them. They come off the 29-21 win against Carolina. Kind of is a little bit troubling that they gave up 21 points to that Cam Newton offense last week. But I think both teams will score points here. I like the over in this game. I don't trust the defenses. And I like the points with Atlanta because They have been good on the road, 5-2 against the spread and straight up on the road. Atlanta's been like Arizona, one of those teams that have played better on the road. And we know San Francisco laying points, especially Jimmy laying a touchdown or more. They haven't just been bad. They've been horrible in Santa Clara on this home field as bigger home favorites. This has been a terrible role for them under Kyle Shanahan. And I just don't trust any element of this Niners team right now laying more than a touchdown. Sure, they might win the game. I don't know if it's going to be my more than a touchdown. So 2 plays, Atlanta plus the points, over 47.5.
I can get you a 47 at circa. So let's start there. Get you the 47 because a 27-20 final score is a possibility here. So over 47 at minus 109. And then you have a option here. You can have the Falcons plus 9.5 at Pinnacle, but it's minus 121. It does cost. Does that interest you, or do you want me to find you a 9?
No, let me see. No, we'll do 8.5.
No, that's 9.5. 9.5.
Yeah, we'll do 9.5. Sure. Yeah, I'm
I
cool
can't.
with that. Yeah.
Let's see what FanDuel has here. Yeah, everyone else has 8.5, but Pinnacle's giving you a full point if you'll pay for it. So Falcons plus 9.5 at minus 121. All right, last game on the board for Babano. It's Saints Buccaneers. We haven't spoken about this game yet. Raymond James Stadium, Tampa, Florida, 75 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 10 miles per hour. You had Ramczyk come back, and now he's gone again. So you have Teron Armstead and Brian Ramczyk out for the Saints. That's going to hurt. Lil Jordan Humphrey dealing with a hamstring injury. And Caden Ellis, a questionable linebacker, Caden Ellis. For the Bucs, Jamel Dean, illness is out. Richard Sherman, Achilles, doubtful. Running back Leonard Fournette dealing with an ankle injury. Safety Antoine Winfield dealing with an ankle injury. And Jordan Whitehead with a calf injury. Right now at Pinnacle, the Saints are now 11.5 point dogs, and it's gone to 45.5. This opened at 46.5. And then cash-wise, we have the 41,145 tickets in. 59% of the tickets on the Saints, 51% of the cash. So the Saints are public at this double-digit price, but bigger bets coming in on the Bucs. Then 41% of tickets and 38% of cash on the under. So money moving towards the over. Take it away, Babano, your last spot on the board.
Yeah, I decided I've got the Saints in the over in this game, but I decided I'm not going to make the Saints official because I'm getting a little cold feet on that. I know they've played well against Tom Brady and the Bucs since Tom went there, but I don't know if I want to go against this Tampa at home trend where they've played really good and they've covered games, and they've also playing in revenge for losing to the Saints earlier this year. So I'm going to keep the Saints from being an official play, although that is a bet for me. It's not going to be an official play. The official play for me on this show is for this game. It's going to be the over. I think it can get there. I think Tampa Bay will move the ball. The Saints, the defense, I think, is going to struggle a little bit. Let's be honest. I mean, the Saints, against the Jets, they played well, but against some good offenses, they gave up 27 to Dallas. They gave up 31 to Buffalo. They gave up 40 to Philadelphia. Tom Brady and the Bucs are going to put up points here. I truly believe that, especially at home. Knowing they lost to the Saints, I think they will move the ball. They've put up big points at home in every recent home game. 33 against Buffalo, 30 against the Giants, 38 against Chicago, 45 against Miami, all on this home field. They've been putting up points, lighting up the scoreboard. I think they'll get in the 30s. Can we get 14 out of New Orleans and there's your over? I think that can be done with Taysom Hill. Enough with it, especially with Kamara back. You're going to be able, I think, to see the Saints do enough and contribute enough to the scoreboard here to push this over the total. So I like the Saints too, but I'm a little bit more worried about that the more this game gets closer to kickoff because Tampa Bay's been really good at home. So I'm going to just stick to the over here as an official play.
And we can get you a nice line again at Pinnacle. Pinnacle doing a nice job for us today. Over 45.5 at just minus 102. Very low vig there. There you have Babano's card.
A couple more just quickly because we can't talk about every game. Just a couple team totals that I like to the over today. Dallas, I think it's gone up, but I got over 27.5. I think it's 28 now, 28.5. I'd still lean that way. And also the Green Bay Packer team total over. I bet it at 24.5. It's gone up to 27. If you get it below 28, I like it. Packers get at least 28, in my opinion.
Did you want to make either of those official and want me to line shop for them?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can add those if they're still good. I don't know if I'd take. I don't think I'd make Dallas official above 28. But if there's a 28 out there, I will.
Yeah, I'll find it. It's 28.5 right now at Pinnacle, but it's at plus 112. So I imagine I'll be able to find it here. Let me just grab this very quickly. So that is the Dallas Cowboys team total over. And okay, I will find that here quickly. Totals. See if FanDuel will help
I'll
us
help
here.
you out here. Let me see. Bet Online's got 28 over minus 125 on Dallas for the team total.
Yeah, let's see if I can beat that here. Yeah, I've got 27.5 at minus 108 at FanDuel.
There you go. That's
So,
good.
okay.
That's an official play for me at that number for Dallas. And Green Bay, definitely make that official because it's below 28. That's good enough for me.
Okay, so Babano's also on Cowboys. Team total over 27.5 at minus 108. And I'm going to keep line shopping and see if I can get you a better line. But what do you have for the Packers?
I bet it a few days ago and it was 24.5. Right now, though, I still make it official because it's below the key number of 28. I see 27 for Green Bay team total at Bet Online. So I do see a 27 out there, which is good for me.
Over 27. And what was the juice?
Hold on, let me just double check here. But it is I didn't spot the juice there. Just one sec. Here
No
we go.
worries. See if I can beat that.
Let me see. Here we go. All right, Green Bay. Where are we here? Green Bay. There we go. Team total. Let's see. Team total. Where are we here? Yeah, plus 100 even money with that team total at Bet Online. Over 27 plus 100 Green Bay.
Over 27 plus 100. Beautiful. Babano, thank you so much for joining us. He's also on the over 45.5 minus 102 in Saints Tampa. Over 47 minus 109. Falcons plus 9.5 minus 121. That's in the Falcons-Niners game. Jags minus 5 at minus 109. He's on the Steelers money line at minus 108. The over 42 in Jets Dolphins and Arizona double up first half full game. Babano, thank you so much for rolling with us, my man. Have a giant Sunday. Follow Babano on Twitter at Babano. Any last words for these great cappers in the chat?
No, it's great to be back on NFL Pub Hub. I always enjoy it. Jimmy, good luck to you. Enjoy the rest of your trip and good luck. And enjoy the games and good luck to everybody watching.
There he is, Babano in the house. Your next guest had a late night, but I wanted him to join the show. And without any question, he was like, of course I'll be there, Jimmy. Of course I'll be there. And now I've had him. He's sitting there patiently waiting in the back. The smoke is taking good care of him, but he is patiently waiting for us. And I love capping with him. Please welcome to the show, Sharpie's Bets in the house, coming to us live from San Diego, California. Sharpie, what's happening, my man?
Man, what's up, my guy? 3 hours of sleep, little bit of weed. I'm gonna fucking sleep all day after this shit. So let's get into some money, my guy.
Let's get into that money right now. And man, nobody has joined the show more than Sharpie. He's done the most shows on the show, and we're very thankful for having him on. We love capping with them, and it's a roller coaster ride capping, as you know. And he also has the highest quantity of action. He's given out 64 bets here on the show. Let's get right to work. We start 1 p.m. Eastern. Carolina Panthers 5-8, 3-3 on the road at Buffalo Bills 7-6, 3-3 at home. Highmark Stadium, Orchard Park, New York. We just got the news that the kicker for the Carolina Panthers hurt himself on the field. He was taken off in a stretcher. I mean, this team is just an absolute mess right now. They're out their best defender in the secondary. They're out McCaffrey. They're just an absolute mess. Bouye now is out with a foot injury as well. They're an absolute mess, and the Bills need to win badly. We know our guy Sharpie attacks the prop market. How are you attacking this one?
Well, usually I'm looking at Josh Allen rush yards, and he's been money in the bank for us guys. But as soon as I seen that dude in a fucking walking boot, I was like, not today, motherfucker. I mean, I hope he gets it. Good for you. I don't want that. We've got Sanders out this game today, guys. And then to me, this is going to be a dig spot. When I go through Carolina's game records, the number one eats. They have over 100 every fucking game. And this is a dig spot. He ain't been freaking hitting with Allen. They need to get right. They're favored by 2 touchdowns, and they can't run the ball. So I expect a heavy workload to Diggs today.
Diggs receiving yards over 74.5 at minus 115. And we have our guy Sharpie. He does the DFS shows on our channel. So you have to follow him on Twitter because he sends out all of his picks. He doesn't ask for anything in return. And he tweeted this action out already. He beat market moves. He's on the over 74.5 receiving yards at minus 115. That is available at DraftKings. All right. And there's Maxwell Smart. Whenever we get Sharpie, we get an appearance from Maxwell Smart in the chat. Next up, 1 p.m. Eastern, Houston Texans at Jacksonville Jaguars. we've seen this giant market move towards the Jacksonville Jaguars. A lot of you guys moved on it early when the firing of Urban Meyer came out in the news. And there's a lot of belief that this Jaguars team is going to take care of business. We have 50-50 on the tickets, but huge amounts of money bet on the Jags. And they've moved from -2.5, -3 to -6. And Sharpie attacking it from the player prop market. Take it away, Sharpie.
I've got a quick question for you, Jimmy.
Yeah.
What did Urban Meyer coach? The defense.
Yeah.
Bebel, the offensive coordinator, is still fucking there. They're still the same fucking offense, guys. I don't know where people think this offense is going to change when it's the same offensive coordinator. And Urban Meyer was a defensive coach. He's always been that way. So I don't see too much changing. When I did start digging into this game, I started seeing some shit that just didn't add up. James Robinson's carries were at 19.5. He hasn't had 19 fucking carries all year long. I know Book's asking for unders money, so I start reading into these lines, guys, and this is going to be a James Robinson workload, guys. Like just like Rashad Penny last week and any other team versus this Houston freaking Texans, they're 32nd versus the rush, allowing 147 yards a game, guys. They're dog shit. And the whole problem with Urban Myers, where this really started getting bad, is when he benched James Robinson, guys. So we're going to go James Robinson rushing and receiving over 110.5, -110 at Caesars. And I think they focal Robinson. If you look at Bebel when he was with the Jets, it's a really slow pace, grind it out, hand it to your running back type game. I see James Robinson with 25 carries plus today and easily shatters this for us.
I like it. It makes a perfect sense. And here you have an opportunity to basically back the Jaguars without getting affected by this giant market move. So those of you who still want a little bit of Jacksonville action can get it here by tailing Sharpie. Let's move on. Sharpie, next spot for you is Tennessee Titans at Pittsburgh Steelers, and you got 3 spots on this board. This is a wild game. Titans opened up as road favorites, a big market move towards the Pittsburgh Steelers. We have Babano on the Steelers. We have Loshak on the Steelers first half. I'm on the over 41.5, and now you get to see, so you see totals here, you see sides, and you get player props. You get the whole enchilada. Take it away, Sharpie. 3 player props in Titans Steelers.
Man, let's get into it, guys. Well, let's start off with the Pittsburgh side. Pat Freiermuth, guys. You should already know his name by now because I've been preaching him to you guys since the get-go. His anytime touchdown is at +195, and that is value, guys. For a guy who scored in 4 out of 5 games without the starting tight end in, it should be more at a +110 in my eyes, maybe even an even money. So, on a guy who's the most red zone targeted guy on his team and has scored in 4 out of the last 5 games without the starting tight end, we're just going to keep riding Pat Freiermuth touchdown props, guys. That's just too easy. Money in the bank to me. Then we're going to go to the other side. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I'm just saying +195 for Freiermuth, a nice spot there. Take it away.
And then we're going to get into the other side. And if Loshak and them are right and they're up at the half, I might be fucked. But I don't see that, guys. We're going straight to the Pittsburgh. They're 31st versus the rush. 139 yards a game. What the fuck is going to change? Oh, they need to win a game? Come on, man. I don't want to hear that, guys. So I'm going to go straight into freaking Foreman. His rush yards, I typed it at 48.5. I got it at 50.5. I put it on Twitter wrong. So I got it at 50.5, not 48. Jimmy, just a heads up. And I'm going to take his touchdown prop at +160. 5 straight games a running back has scored against the Pittsburgh freaking Steelers. They're 23rd in the league in allowing rushing touchdowns. And in 3 of those last 5 games, the running back has scored twice. So I think if they get to the red zone, Foreman's big fucking ass is just going to keep trucking this bum ass rush defense. So I think it's a big Foreman day.
When I hear Sharpie Cap and what he brings to the show, I'm just like, he completes us. That's what he does. He completes us. All right, we have Foreman rush yards over 50.5. We have anytime touchdown at +160 and Freiermuth anytime touchdown at +195. We move on. Sharpie's got more for you. 1 p.m. Eastern, New York Jets, Miami Dolphins. those of you who've been with us for an hour and a half, I don't mean to go over it again, but I got talked off the under on Tuesday. I came close to moving on it today, but Bono's on the over, and I'm comfortable to stay off. That's what this show's all about. We work together. We figure out what moves that we want to make together. When everything correlates, we pull the trigger, and I'm not pulling the trigger here. Then we have the side. Nobody's moved on the side, even though the Jets' offensive line is an absolute mess right now. Fant, doubtful. Duvernay Tardif, ankle, and Dan Freeney back are questionable. And let's see how Sharpie wants to take advantage of this situation. Jets Dolphins, take it away.
Man, the more and more, like, I talked about this with Noli this morning for like 30 minutes, and he's on the under, and I just was like, bro, tell me why, please. I want to see it. Why? Because I see bad defenses, and he explained it to me, and I get it. I totally get it. But I don't understand why people wouldn't just take Miami if they think it's going to be Miami's going to dog them like that. But we're going to look at Devontae Parker, guys. Tua Tagovailoa, probably a bottom 10 quarterback in the NFL. And the reason why, guys, he can't go through progressions. He's a one-read fucking quarterback. And without Jalen Waddle in the game, Devontae Parker should see a whole lot of action. I mean, a whole lot of action. And I know a lot about a whole lot of action because I was a busy man last night. But Devontae Parker should see 10 targets with Waddle out the game. We're going up against the 30th rush defense, the 27th pass defense. They just suck, guys. I get Tua's not that good, but he's going to be looking one way and one way often, and I expect that to be Parker.
Devontae Parker over 54.5 receiving yards at -110. 4:05 p.m. Eastern, the last spot on Sharpie's card. Cincinnati Bengals 7-6, 4-2 on the road at Denver Broncos 7-6, 4-3 at home. With this breakdown on the show today, I'm not like shocked or anything, but I was a little surprised that the chat was very heavy on the Bengals. And after hearing that, Loshak moved on the Bengals team total over. Bengals passing game is, don't forget. I'm not saying that Mixon isn't a huge part of the offense, but he hasn't been very good lately. And the Bengals offense is, pushed by their passing attack. And this is the most expensive secondary in the NFL by a landslide. And they're starting to play better. But Bengals, Broncos, a lot of Bengals action. But with Sharpie, we have a player prop. Take it away, Sharpie, Bengals, Broncos.
Man, speaking of, because I heard Loshak bring up Sutton. And before Sutton, he brought up Johnson, guys. Johnson's on my player pool list of almost making the show, guys. And like Jimmy was saying, the dude doesn't play props often, so it's maybe something you need to go pay attention to, guys. That Johnson over 6.5, I'm probably going to end up playing that now here, and he was leaning that way. But I was already leaning it. It was on my paperwork, but something to pay attention to when guys don't bet a certain thing and then they go to it. You might want to put a little money on that shit. But we're going to go into this game, guys, and this is going to be my best bet for the show. Jerry Jeudy over 50.5 receiving yards, guys. Cincinnati is number 4 versus the rush, 29th versus the pass, okay? Jeudy has hit this 4 out of 7 games. Not that great, right? But if you go through those games, 2 of the 3 he didn't get it were versus bottom 5 rush defenses, and they ran the ball 35-plus times a game. I don't see 35-plus rushing times versus the Cincinnati defense. So I expect Jeudy to see the targets that he sees in the other type of game script. So 50.5 just seems too cheap in a game where I see them throwing a lot.
Jerry Jeudy over 50.5 receiving yards. Best bet for our Sharpie. Let's review Sharpie's action here. He's on Diggs receiving yards over 74.5 at -115. He's on Robinson receiving and rushing over 110.5. at -110. Then we have Devonta Foreman, rush yards over 50.5, -115, and anytime touchdown at +160. Freiermuth, anytime touchdown at +195. Parker, receiving yards over 54.5. Jeudy over 50.5 receiving yards is his best bet. Sharpie, thank you for fighting a good fight to be on our show. We are very thankful to cap with you, and you bring so much fun and excitement and energy and thoughtful capping, analytics, statistical breakdowns, edges. You do it all. So thank you so much for rolling with us. Sharpie's bets in the house. Sharpie, any last words for the great cappers on the chat?
Nah, man. Thank you all for hanging in there. Got one more guy coming up, man. Let's keep rolling, baby. Let's cash them tickets. Let's fucking go.
There he is. Follow him on Twitter at Sharpie's Bets. We close the show with a legend who's had another winning week. So he opened it up with 3 slight losing weeks, but he's like, I'm going to get hot. I haven't got hot yet. Now he's had 3 straight winning weeks. He's now ranked number 6 on our board of 19 cappers. He's 14-12 plus 1.41 units with 3 straight winning weeks under his belt, and he's coming back-to-back weeks for us. Please welcome to the show the big Ragoo in the house.
What's up, everybody? How we doing, guys? What's up, Jimbo?
Doing great, man. So happy to get out of Toronto. So happy to get out of Parkdale. I just so thankful. And I got to see Big Boss and Wham last night at the game, and there's going to be a lot more of that. We have so many great cappers in LA.
Oh, you're hanging out in LA now, huh? I was going to say,
God.
change the scenery for you. Looking good, my man. Looking good. What's happening?
I needed it desperately, man. Needed it desperately. But more importantly, you are on a 3-show winning streak here on the show. In those 3 weeks, you are just over 4 units of glory here. Let's get right to work because I don't know what action you have. So let's get right to work. We start with Carolina Panthers and Buffalo Bills. We've talked about this. We just heard the Carolina kicker has been stretchered off the field. This Panther team is a mess. The market's moving quickly towards the Buffalo Bills. Now 14-point favorites. It just keeps moving in their direction. Opening at minus 11.5, now 14. This total, though, not doing that. This total has been dropping, and it looks like it just dropped further with the kicker getting hurt. It's now at 43. Take it away here, Ragoo. The floor is yours.
Yeah, you're going to see some of my plays. I have some contest plays that I didn't tweet, so I'm going to be on the short ass of the stick with some of these numbers, but I'm going to figure out a way how to hedge possibly out of them or maybe live in glory in a double up spot. But at the same time, we're talking about the Panthers and what's going on down in Charlotte. A lot of things are not good down there. They're coming off a 3-game losing skid. The quarterback situation is not pretty at all. We're talking about P.J. Walker replacing Cam Newton on his one-game honeymoon, reunited with the Panthers. So they've got a lot of tough things going on down in Charlotte. Now, Buffalo is a team that I usually like to get involved with. Now, I dogged Buffalo last week when they played the Bucs. Bucs, we got that overtime win. Thank God for that. Buffalo's wins have been, when they've feasted, have been against lesser type opponents, right? We talked about the Jets and, the Saints and the other teams that they beat upon. And they're coming up in another one of those spots here. When they play the lesser, they're like 6-0 ATS and straight up in those spots. And now the number's starting to creep away from us just a little bit right here. And I'm a little concerned about that 14. I'm in a contest where I got it 10.5. My money's down at like 11 legitimately, but for all intents and purposes, to be fair to the chat, we got to cap it like it is. We got to live with the number we get. And I'm thinking the way the game is going to go today, that Buffalo is going to score points where they're averaging, around 25, 26 points at home. I think for them to cover this number, they're definitely going to have to stretch it up to the 30s. And then the total is sitting, what's the total sitting at, like at 43?
Dropped all the way to 43.
Yeah, so, it's indicative there. So, you're talking about Carolina, maybe if they're lucky to get 2 touchdowns, that Buffalo's going to have to score like, 30-plus points to get to that number. So, my pick was the Buffalo Bills in the contest. I'm gonna run with a 14, which is fucking insanity. I'm gonna lay the 14 with Buffalo, and I definitely want to get involved in the team total because I think today is the day where they finally hit the 30s at home and against a shitty team. I think we're gonna see, like Sharpie says, Allen does have to pass. They don't have much of a running game, so probably the player props are going to be a good spot for the receivers here. But I think we're going to see Allen maybe score a touchdown, maybe 2 on his own, and then hit the receivers up for a couple, 2 or 3 touchdowns there. So I think Buffalo maybe creeps over the 28 points at their 28. Is it 28 or 28.5 on a team total?
It's 28.5, but I'm going to keep shopping.
Okay, so either way, they're going to have to score more than 4 touchdowns here to cover the number. So that's my bet today. I'm going to take Buffalo over the team total, and Buffalo, to be fair, because of the contest lines I have, and to the chat, I got to lay the 14 with Buffalo here too. I'm going to double up with Buffalo in a big day. I say Buffalo wins anywhere from 17 to 20 points in the spot.
Wow, and some books have, so there's concerns here with Buffalo running away with it. The team total, it's 28.5 minus 111 at Pinnacle, but it has moved at other books. I'm going to keep shopping, or it's been dropped from FanDuel. Team total over 28.5 at minus see if I can get you better than that. A -111. And you nailed this with the Chiefs last week.
Yeah, I'm
The
hoping
Chiefs
we get the
made-
repeat. We get a repeat of the same type of effort that the Chiefs put on the floor. But Buffalo at home, they kind of play a little differently. But I'm thinking today might be the day that they kind of break out of their shell up in Buffalo and have that huge game. And they got a tough nut because they're not looking ahead in this game by no means. They got some tough games coming up on deck. They're looking at New England right down the road. So this is not a game where they're going to at first I was hearing rumors about them possibly starting Trubisky. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Not when you're trying to get rid of for New England. That's the biggest game of the year coming up for you guys. They're in a spot where they have to win every game going away, this going forward here. So there's no time. There's no rest for the weary. Put your best players on the field and get the job done.
Bet365 has moved it to 29.5. But Circa has got the lowest juice, over 28.5 at -107. So back in the Bills to speed up the Panther squad. Jomo Kenyatta says Buffalo wins huge. Let's keep rolling. Next up for the big Ragu, we have 1 p.m. Eastern, Houston Texans at Jacksonville Jaguars. We've seen this huge market move towards the Jags. How are you handling this spot?
Yeah, I was up in Jacksonville last weekend. My son had his wedding up there, and I left a lot of money in Jacksonville, so them motherfuckers owe me some money in the city of Jacksonville. Anyway, whether I get it on the Texas side or Jacksonville side, we'll figure that out here in a second. But for the most part, this is there's a lot of overreaction, but I think Sharpie hit it on the head when he talked about the Bevel. Bevel's been involved. I wouldn't call him a quarterback guru, but he's developed some nice talent. He's out in Seattle with Russell Wilson. Then he spent a couple years up there with Stafford. So they kind of brought this guy in to kind of groom Trevor Lawrence, but I don't think everything kind of panned out early on. It's not panning out like the way they want it to, but there's other issues that kind of contributed to that factor. Now with the cancer gone in the locker room, I'm hearing some solid things as far as people believing in Bevel. They like Charlie Strong a lot. So maybe, that whole breath of fresh air might carry on to the field, but it's still the offense that they're running is the same play caller is still intact there. But I'm hearing a lot about James Robinson getting involved, which is a good look for fantasy players, player props, that type of thing. But I think the key for Jacksonville to kind of get to where they need to be in this game is instead of Trevor Lawrence, being more reactive in past situations, he's got to be more proactive and kind of move the pocket, kind of like what he did in college, and get him outside and let him start, distributing the ball around. Maybe they don't have the ultra talent that they need, but just to kind of build his confidence up. Now, Houston is a worse offense than Jacksonville is, but the defense is a little bit better. They're kind of like a middle of the road type defense, believe it or not. But Jacksonville, I think, there's a lot of money coming in to back them. I had a contest play. I'm laying 4.5 with them now. The number is 6 points on Jacksonville. Is that what the number is?
We just got a 5 for Babano 30 minutes ago.
We got a 5 for Babano? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Now we have a 5.5 at -110, but
yeah,
the fact that you come on 20 minutes later and get it, I don't.
It is what it is. I mean, fives are quirky. I hate 5s in the NFL too. Like, I'd rather lay 6 than 5 if that makes any kind of sense, which it doesn't. But it's just 5 is a fucking crazy number in NFL. But at the same time, Houston, when you get two shitty teams playing each other, like the two bottom tier teams, usually the points come, take the points at a premium. But I think this game's got a little different feel today for the Jags, and it's going to be a one-offer type of thing. So I'm still putting my money on the Jags, even though I'm probably getting the short end of the stick on the number. I think we still could maybe get there possibly, but it's just a gut check play for me, and I'm trying to get my money back for the wedding that I spent last week. So fucking Jacksonville, don't disappoint me today.
Well, congratulations on your son's wedding, Ragu. I imagine it was a beautiful, beautiful day. Yeah, I completely get this look. I probably should have jumped on it earlier. I did not, but I get it. I completely get it. Our guy Jacksonville Zo will be at this game. Jaguars -5.5, -110 is available right now at Circa. 5.5, -110 available at Circa. Let's keep rolling, Ragu. The next spot on the board for you is Cardinals Detroit Lions. I'm uncomfortable that this total has gone up I got it at 47.5, and now there's even 48.5 on the board at some of these dicey offshore books. The good ones are hanging at 48. We have injuries on both sides, but we do know that Connor will be in. So that's that will help. The guy's a touchdown machine this year. He will be in. And then the Lions are missing their two most important offensive playmakers for Goff. They're missing DeAndre Swift and they're missing Hawkinson. So with TJ and DeAndre out, I don't know how they're going to. I still think this under makes sense. You got no DeAndre Hopkins. You have a Cardinals team that doesn't need to win by enormous margin here. Just get the win, come home healthy. This is an interesting spot, Raghu. Take it away. Are you looking side or total here?
I'm looking both, actually. I think you're on the right side with the under. You're on the under, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Good for you. I like the under here, too. I think if in fact you're going to back the Cardinals, I think you better do it in the first half, if anything. I don't know. I've seen some people in chat that had some half time action on the Cardinals. I think it's probably the smarter play if you're going to back the Cardinals. But the Lions are definitely missing weapons, without a doubt. We heard Ian talk about, that they played their big game. They got that first win. Then they had to go in Denver the following week and got annihilated by the Broncos there. But I think this is a tough spot for Arizona, not in a sense to get a victory, but to get to the number because, coming off a Monday nighter. And I don't think they've got 3 really huge games up on deck. So this is probably going to be the easiest look that they have to close out the season. They were total control of the NFC West. They took that tough loss against the Rams. If they would have won that, not that this game would have meant anything differently, but there's always an outside chance that they could possibly be looking at a tiebreaker situation, which I think they might come out on top of that too. But just to take the pressure off the Cardinals a little bit, I think they're going to go in this game with the mindset, coming in at 10-3. They've got to finish up with Seattle late, and then they play the Colts and then the Cowboys before that. I think they're going to go in there to just not escape with a victory, but kind of play what they need, kind of get things in control for themselves and try not to get beat up too much in this game here. So I truly believe I'm going to call it a soft spot for them, but because there's no such thing in the NFL because it's such a week-to-week league now with COVID. It's becoming a fucking day-to-day type of league also. But I think the Cardinals, they kind of take control early in this game and then just kind of, get, I wouldn't say a big lead, maybe a comfortable lead, and then maybe not, hopefully don't go to sleep for you zoner backers here, but I think the under is the right look. I like the under here, and I also like I think it's a little bit of an overlay with the point spread for Detroit. Now, Detroit's been covering numbers. I think they're like 8-6. I think they covered like the last 5 out of 6 also. So not that they've been overachieving or underachieving, but just they've been trying to get that first win, like Ian said. They got it. Whether they kind of take a breather after that, I think they'll still play competitive. They're missing weapons, obviously, so that bodes well to the under. But still, it's the NFL, and 12.5, 13 points is a lot of points in this league, especially coming off a Monday nighter and going on the road to try to accomplish and then looking at what you have ahead on your schedule. So I think this is one game that they go in there. They don't win by tremendous margin, but they win by a decent margin, but they don't cover. So I'm taking the Lions as bad as they are, plus the points at home, and I like the under as my better look.
Wow, that's fascinating breakdown. So we can find you a 48.5 at FanDuel. So at least, because I know you take the brunt of the market moves generally here, so at least we can get you a better look than you would have gotten, better look than I got on Tuesday. I have the 47.5. Then you have the plus 13 on the Detroit Lions. And I think if the Detroit Lions cover this number, it does correlate with a catch on the under.
Yeah, definitely. That it does.
Yeah, I love the breakdown with the Cards coming off Monday night. They just have no reason to destroy here and win by margin and risk certain. Just let's get in, let's get out with the W.
Exactly.
Harold Williams is on the minus 13 with Arizona. By the way, Taint play of the day is in Arizona State plus 3.5 from Matty Ice. Taint play of the day, and I'll pop that up on this Taint play of the day record as well. So Taint is in, and it's legit. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so plus 13. I'm going to line shop here. So we're 15 minutes till kickoff, and God, I love capping with the We Be Pubbin chat. I love capping with the Big Ragu, and we have 15 minutes. So we do have a few minutes, and it looks like I'm not adding anything, at least on the 1 o'clock games. Is there any other spots or anything else you want to touch on here, Ragu?
Yeah, I'm going to play me an old Stanford Wong teaser here because I've been looking with the way these lines have been fucking flying up and up. I mean, last week we know that the favorites covered 13 out of 14 games. Not to say that they won't cover as many this week, but they're making it awful tough on favorite backers because we know public is always going to be on the favorites like 70% of the time. But I'm gonna get involved with 2 favorites here in the teaser. I know the teaser record is what? What's the teaser record on the show? Pretty horrible, isn't it?
It's abysmal. It's shocking. Yeah. But I mean, I don't think the sample size is big enough. So, yeah. But it's abysmal.
I know it's bad. I think I contributed like 1, maybe twice to that. I think I might have lost both times, but definitely one time I know I did a teaser. But I think today is a good opportunity to tease. I know San Francisco is a little banged up and has some issues, but I think they're at least a field goal better at home in that spot against the Falcons. The Falcons are going to do what they do. Even if the Falcons get a lead out west, they'll find a way to blow that game. And the money team, I don't know, has anybody backed the Packers today at the number? I know it's up to 7, but I have a contest play with the Packers at 5.5. That was a game I got interested in, and I think the Packers have kind of crept up a little bit higher than that, right? What's the current number on the Packers?
Let's give it to you right now. We'll go to here. The current number on the Jesus, it's 9. Wait,
right.
Is that what? When did that switch?
Yeah, I like the Packers in the teaser too because I seen it at 9 too. So I'm going to lay 2.5 with the Packers and 2.5 with the Niners.
Wasn't that 6.5 when we opened the show?
I don't know.
Wow, it was 9 this morning. It was 9 this morning as well.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I think it crept up to 9, but I've seen it at 7 early on, and I've seen it jump to 9. I'm like, holy shit! But yeah, that's a teaser play. Get on the Pack and the Niners at -2.5, 6.5 point tees. I'm going to make that an official play. We'll
Packers
try to make try to balance the books a little bit with the teasers. I know teasers are sucker bets usually, but if you get in the right situations, they can be profitable. You have to sit and wait on them. That's it. You just can't just go out and play teasers all friggin' day.
Well,
but that's a good one.
I know why. The psychological side of handicapping is what excites me and interests me the most, and I know why that teasers seem so appealing. I get it. It's the same reason why when someone discusses a player prop, it just seems so appealing. Like you get it. Like when you take a team and you give them 6 points of a cushion, you're like, of course, yes. Why wouldn't I bet that? It just, and those are the things that I'm trying just to stay away from. But
yeah. When
you hear the Packers under a field goal and the Niners under a field goal, yes. It just makes, I get it. I absolutely get it.
I mean, it happens. They lose, they do lose, but never tease college football. Never, ever, ever. If anybody tells you to tease college football, tell them to go fuck themselves because that's a sucker bet for sure.
I'll tell them, you know what I'll tell them? I'll say, Big Ragu says, go fuck yourself. That's
right.
What I'll
go
say.
Fuck yourself with a college teaser.
Oh, Ragu, I love you, my man. So, Ragu, we need you in San Antonio the last 2 weeks of March. So, let's figure out how we can help set that up. We need you rolling with us in the worst ways.
Mark me down. I'm in. Whatever it is, as long as like March going for last 2 weeks of March going forward, whatever it is, I'll be there. Yeah. Count me in. Color me in. I'm in.
Beautiful. All right, let's review Big Ragu's action again. 3 straight winning weeks. In those 3 straight winning weeks, he is 10-6, and he's up a little over 4 units as some nice VIG spots. Princeton City says San Antonio where? Princeton City, we're going to let you know, man. We're going to let everybody know. We want it to be packed with our guys. So Big Ragu, he had the Chiefs first half in full game against the Raiders, and it was easy. Very, very easy. Here he's on the Bills -14. He got the tough end of the line. Newcorker saying that Zane Gonzalez officially ruled out after he got hurt on the field. This look makes sense. He's also on the team total over 28.5 at -107. He's on the Jaguars -5.5 at -110. Again, we like to have Ragu close the shows and headline these shows. and it puts him in a tough spot because he gets hurt by the market moves. The one spot he didn't get hurt, though, is the under 48.5 at -112 in Arizona Detroit under. That gives me confidence on my under. He's also on the Lions +13 at -110. And he's on a teaser with the Packers -2.5 and the Niners -2.5, -110. Big Ragu, thank you so much for joining us. Follow our man on Twitter at Big Ragu62. Ragu, we love you, man. Please send Kelly my love and have a wonderful, wonderful holidays with your fam. Do you have any last words for the great Capper supporting the show?
Hey, I wish everybody a profitable Sunday and an even better holiday season. God bless everybody. Y'all enjoy the day and enjoy it with your families.
What a great, great guy. Man, I love this shit. Princess City said you better hope I don't show up. Come on. You're exactly who we need here. Dennis Garcia, some bets he added this morning. Dogs. He added Carolina +14.5, the Giants +12, and Houston +6. You did come up, Dennis, in conversations with my dad yesterday. I enjoy capping with you immensely, Dennis. I just really, really, really do. Okay, let's review all action. We're 9 minutes away from kickoff. I'm going for my 8th straight winning week. You'd think if a capper in front of you had 7 straight winning weeks, well, he's got to be up double-digit units. It's not the case, man. It's not the fucking case. 88 and 75, 54% plus 4.6 units, ROI plus 2.82%, average line -111. Week 7, or 7th week in a row, it was just 5 and 4 plus 0.55 units. But anytime you're in the black, you're in the fucking black. Now it's holiday season, so we need to be in the fucking black. I have Arizona, Detroit under 47.5. Dallas, New York Giants under 44.5. Giants team total under 16.5. Tennessee, Pittsburgh over 41.5. Vikings team total over 23.5. Minnesota, Chicago over 44. No, Flesh out. I'm going to call you right away here. From a landline, 818. I'll call you right away here. My phone's doing messed up shit down here. I'm not getting text messages. I'm not getting shit. Bebsie has Dallas, New York Giants under 45 -107. Broncos -1.5 plus 100. Packers team total over 23.5. He murked that line. It was -120 on Tuesday. Josh Allen over 31.5 rush yards and Chuba over 43.5 rush yards. That is Bebsie. For Pistol Pete Loshak, Steelers first half at -107. I feel like I should bet the Steelers right now. I've got about 8 minutes to decide that. Seeing the confidence in Loshak and Babano, I think it's got to be the right side now. So I think I may make an addition here. I've got 7 minutes to make that decision. Then he's on the Bengals team total over 20.5. Bengals team total over 20.5 at -105 for Pistol. And he stayed off that Seahawks-Rams game. Too bad that was moved to Tuesday. Then we have Babano. He's on Arizona first half -7, full game -12.5. And we have Ragu on the other side at +13 on the other side. Austin Johnson said, I bet the Steelers. C-Max says, landline is still around. Wow. Yeah, look, I'm at my dad's house, man. It's rotary. I got Smooth Ed on speed dial on my rotary. Over 42, New York Jets, Miami Dolphins. You talk to a 19-year-old kid and you say, you know what a rotary phone is? Jose, you know what a rotary is?
Yeah, it's the little circle phone.
Yeah, it's a little circle phone.
By the way, I also bet the Steelers, if that makes you feel better. That I was so confident I bet first half full game with you guys. So you should bet them.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to double up here. I'm trying not to do any double ups here with the holidays right around the corner. But I did double up not sending in my dad's bet. Fuck yeah, man. Fuck yeah. Cash on my own bet. Don't send in my dad's bet. Just fucking magical. Steelers money line -108 for Babano. Jags -5 at -109 for Babano. Then the over 47 -109 and the Falcons +9.5 in Atlanta, San Francisco. Over 45.5 in New Orleans Saints, Tampa Bay. I didn't tell my dad I didn't send in this bet. Because if you watch that game, Oregon, I can't wax poetic. We got 6 minutes, so I'm going to move on to Steelers. But Oregon State had that drive the first 58 seconds. They were completely in control of the game. They looked so good that first 4 minutes of the game, and then he was so happy. And then I just watched the happiness get sucked right out of him. Panthers, Bills for Sharpie. He's on Diggs receiving yards over 74.5 -115. Robinson rushing receiving yards over 110.5 -110. And also when my dad was talking to Big Boss, he was like, boss, I thought your look on Utah State was just a homer bet because you love the Mountain West Conference. And I saw him just like, this is the bleeding small as well. I got it. Put a big smile on my face. But I want my dad to win overall, but not when he asks me to send in action. There's our guy, Skee Profit. He's on New York, Dallas under 44.5, and the Saints under 47. Well, I'm with you on that New York Giants, Dallas under Skee. And Skee, are you coming to LA for the holidays? You send me a text message. Let me know if you're going to be in LA for the holidays. For Sharpie, Foreman, rush yards over 50.5 at minus 115. Anytime touchdown plus 160. And Frymouth, anytime touchdown plus 195. Devontae Parker receiving yards over 54.5. And Judy is his best bet. Sharpie's best bet. Judy over 50.5 receiving yards at minus 110. And then the big Ragu. Bills minus 14, minus 108. Team total over 28.5. Jaguars minus 5.5, minus 110. Under 48.5, minus 112 in Arizona, Detroit. And Lions plus 13 at minus 110. And the teaser with Packers and Niners both at minus 2.5. And Matty Ice joined us to give us the taint play of the day. Oh yeah, Skee. Yeah, baby. That's what I want. Oh, God, I'm so excited. I'm so happy to be here now. Like, get the fuck out of Toronto. Get out of Parkdale. God, man. How many momos can you eat? Just get me out of Parkdale, man. Fuck. Thank you guys so much. Again, no betting with the bag for 2 weeks, but Pistol Pete, the Peter Loshak show, will be there on Tuesday, this Tuesday coming up, and the Tuesday after that. I'll still be doing my NFL show, so I'll be here with you guys Tuesday night. Yeah, I'm happy, man. I can't wait to meet up with more low baggers. I got to hang out with Wham Bam and Big Boss last night, and it just, we cap together every day. We spend every day working together, so.
What's your reaction going to be like when you see me for the first time?
I can't wait, Jose. I'm really excited about San Antonio, man. I'm really
Stop
excited.
lying.
No, I am. Oh, what do you mean? I didn't say I'm really excited about meeting Jose. I said I'm really excited about going to San Antonio. But no, I can't wait, Jose. Look, man, I can't fucking wait to hang with you, my man. So I'm really excited.
Sure. No, you'll realize that I'm a baby child, and you'll be like, ugh, God, what is this? But we have bets to play.
That doesn't sound too good. All right, I got 3 minutes. Titans just stood on the Steelers logo. I got 3 minutes to make this bet. Okay, I'm gonna come in on the Steelers right now. I got 3 minutes to load it in. I love you guys. Thank you for rolling with us. Let's have a giant Sunday. A giant Week 15. I'm going for my 8th straight winning week. Let's fucking go!